to America Trends. I'm Dr. Gina. Bill Clinton trending today. He is out on the campaign trail with the Hillary, and he has us all wondering whether that will help or hurt her campaign. And that's why our poll question today asks if Bill's presence will help or hurt Hillary's campaign. Do you think it will help her, hurt her, or have no effect? Make sure you go and vote in that poll right now. We'll reveal the final results of that poll at the end of the show. But right now, let's go to Kira Davis from natsentinel.com to see what she has to say about Bill and Hill. Kira, welcome back to America Trends. Good to have you.
Hi, Gina. Good to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Kira, what's your expert opinion here? Because most people are saying, hey, people don't care about sexual improprieties anymore, and that's pretty much what Bill's known for. But when Hillary goes out on her woman bandwagon, is there going to be some effect there?
Listen, Gina, any reporter that is worth their salt, if they have any backbone, and the one person who gets it in their head to really stick this question to Hillary, I think could really make a career for themselves. The one question any reporter needs to ask is, Mrs. Clinton, when you win the presidency, how strange will it feel to occupy the same office and the same desk that your husband received pleasure from an intern in?
I can kind of see that question coming. Yeah, I can kind of, Kira, I can kind of see that question coming from a Donald Trump in a debate. I think you ought to let him know that.
You know what, Gene, he probably already has it written down. And
he just might. He seems to be one to come up with questions like that. But I think that's a
question to ask.
A very legitimate question to ask. All right, Republicans seem to have been afraid to bring up Bill's philandering and his downright abuse of women since they essentially lost the will to fight in the 90s. But it seems to me like when Hillary specifically talks about her tender heart for women, I mean, I don't know if this happens to you, but immediately to my mind come the faces of Monica Lewinsky and Kathleen Willey and the list goes, Paula, and the list goes on and on of the women he not only, maybe had affairs with, but in certain cases has even been, as in the case of Juanita Broderick, been accused of rape. And as we're watching all this stuff happen with Bill Cosby, doesn't it sort of force us to then look at the past life of Bill Clinton?
That's a tough one. I mean, I think for people like you and me, yeah, it does force us to look at those dichotomies. But liberal America is very good at compartmentalizing issues like that. And so while a lot of my friends and family are angry with Bill Cosby, Bill Clinton's different. He's just kind of that lovable rascal, that crazy guy, the first black president. I think what's interesting to note, Gina, is that coming up on our side of things, on the GOP side, we've got a whole crop of politicians who weren't really a part of what happened in the 90s. And so they have kind of come into politics outside of that. Mm-hmm. And so I think you're going to see quite a few of them not be afraid to approach this subject. It hasn't happened quite yet because they're busy with each other. But I think we're going to see some hard questions. This is why I'm really excited to have Hillary as a candidate. I have to be honest with you. I think that she is just ripe for picking.
Oh, yeah, I think so, too. All right, Bernie Sanders hasn't been attacking Hillary on really much of anything, but he is raking in the cash. He did pretty well in the final quarter of 2015, didn't he?
That's really funny. I mean, it's just funny that a guy whose entire platform is on the evils of money is like raking in so much money. And his whole platform is about corruption in politics and corruption in money and how we need to get rid of these politicians that have been in office forever. And Bernie Sanders has been in office forever and he's rich, It's like, these two things, it's just some people, they just can't make them work in their mind. So they forget one and just go with the fact that he's saying things that make them feel good about themselves, but it's not reflected in his life at all.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to point it out. It certainly seems true, although I think people aren't thinking enough about Bernie to really care about his own hypocrisy.
I don't think so. It's cute. I mean, I'm glad he's trying, but
yeah, exactly. All right, back over to the GOP side of things now for a minute. Kira, it's 2016, and Trump's still leading the pack. The pundits kind of screwed up that prediction, didn't they? Did you think we'd see this day where Trump was still around and leading the packs?
No. I didn't. I have to be honest with you. I really didn't see this coming. But you know what else I didn't see coming, Gina? I never saw terrorist attacks on our own soil. coming after 9/11. You know, I never thought of the idea of our country really being completely divided over the issues of illegal immigrants streaming over our borders with no checks and no balances. Mm-hmm. I never thought a lot of these things would happen. And I think the reason why Trump has stuck around so long is because he's speaking to that. Whether you think it's right or wrong, whether you agree with it or not, whether or not you think he's lying or not, he, at the very least, has his finger on the pulse of what people are concerned about right now. Mm-hmm. People are scared, Gina. They're scared of terrorism. They're scared of it visiting their doorstep. They're scared of what all of these people streaming over our borders means for that. And so he's coming out with messages that say, you know, I am concerned about this too. You're not hearing that from our commander-in-chief right now. So there's a power vacuum right now, and he's filling it.
He came out with his first ad airing in primary states today. Let's watch this, and I want to get your thoughts, Kira.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
The politicians can pretend it's something else, but Donald Trump calls it radical Islamic terrorism. That's why he's calling for a temporary shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until we can figure out what's going on. He'll quickly cut the head off ISIS and take their oil. And he'll stop illegal immigration by building a wall on our southern border that Mexico will pay for.
We will make America great again.
All right, your thoughts, Kira?
Well, he's saying what people are longing to hear. I mean, we haven't heard our president say those words. I can't remember him ever saying those words, really. Or maybe he has, but I've just always thought they were tongue-in-cheek or something. Yeah. The idea that America is great is it's an infectious idea, and it really is spread by a leader. And we don't have that right now. So the good thing about Trump is he is tapping into this raw fear and concern that Americans have, and he gets it. In his campaign, I mean, I got to give them credit. They get it. They know what people are concerned about. The bad thing is that even in that ad, everything with Trump is so vague. You know, I never hear any specifics, not even in debates. How do you get Mexico to pay for a wall that they don't want? You know, how do you cut the head off of ISIS? How do you control Muslim immigration? You know, how do you figure out who's Muslim and who's not when terrorists are very happy to lie and say that they're Christian? So there's just all kinds of holes in it that make me uncomfortable. But like I say, the good thing is that, or the positive thing is that he knows what the people want to hear, and he's saying it.
You know, this is the first time I've thought of this, Kira, but, you know, I think one of the things that I used to criticize a lot about GOP candidates was they would get so down in the weeds that the vast majority of Americans, especially the low information voters, couldn't understand what they were saying. And we always said, why can't our leaders campaign on slogans like the Democrats do such a great job of, and not get messed up in the minutia that just confuses everyone? Maybe that's what Trump's going for. I don't know. But I do always appreciate your analysis. Thanks for being with us, Kira. You can find her at Real Kira Davis. And up next, we're going to find out why.